More now on the still developing situation in Libya.
Middle East correspondent Ben Knight is in Tripoli and he joins us now on the line. Ben, good evening. I'm sure there's a bit of a delay here, so just bear with us. Can you tell us where you're based and what's happening there tonight?
Well, we're in central Tripoli at the moment, Tam, and it's been a day where the fighting looks as though it really has bogged down. When I say that, it's also been quite intense. It's a stalemate situation here at the moment. The rebels are bringing troops in from wherever they can around the country, trying to get them in here, but the Gaddafi forces are holding them off and digging in. Now, there's fighting in probably two main areas. One of them is around the main compound, that Colonel Gaddafi's compound, which was overrun on Tuesday. The other one is at the airport. Now, the rebels took control of the airport a few days ago. The Gaddafi forces have been fighting back, and today they set fire to the aircraft that were there, which might seem a strange thing to do, which they're, of course, hoping to take over the country. And why would you burn your assets like that? Well, one of the theories is that they believe that Colonel Gaddafi will try to escape by air, so they've been burning military and civilian airliners as well. But there's been some very heavy fighting in the other parts of the city. There's been a major battle in a place called Abu Salim. Now, this is a built-up neighbourhood that is regarded as being a stronghold of the Gaddafi forces, so much so that some rebels believe that that is where the Libyan leader, perhaps we shouldn't call him that anymore because he doesn't control the country, but they believe that that is where he is holed up, and perhaps his sons as well. Some really disturbing reports coming in from both sides of execution-style killings, and certainly we heard some of that going on in that place, Abu Salim, today.
And Ben, there has been another audio message from Colonel Gaddafi. Can you tell us about that?
Well, it was more of the same. He was urging people, he was urging Libyans to come to the capital and fight off the rebels. Now, it's a little different. You have to wonder how many people are actually watching that. Now, of course, we're reporting it. It's significant. It shows perhaps that the Libyan leader is still alive. It doesn't tell us anything about where he is. But you have to wonder how many Libyans are actually watching it, because he doesn't control state television anymore. This appeared on a pro-Gaddafi satellite channel, but it didn't appear on state television, so a very, very limited audience. But of course, any statement from the Libyan leader is immediately picked up on and becomes news because of the mere fact that he's made it.
Of course, we have seen an escalation in fighting to Sirte, which is Colonel Gaddafi's hometown. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Sirte was probably the last city that was holding out. Now, for the last 6 months, the rebels have been trying to even get near enough to attack this town, and it just hasn't happened. Now, once Tripoli fell, or once Tripoli was invaded by the rebels, the fighting started happening coming out of Sirte. Now, it had been pretty quiet, sort of not being attacked and not really launching any attacks from out of that city, but then some missiles started being launched out of there onto rebel-held cities. Well, now the rebels understand that if they are going to finish this off, it's not just a case of taking Tripoli, it's a case of taking that city as well. This is another place where they believe that the colonel might be, and there's very good reason for that. It's his hometown, and it has been heavily fortified over the years. They believe that there is a labyrinth of tunnels and bunkers underneath, so that's an obvious target. But it is going to be extremely difficult for them to take, and they have Tripoli, of course, to get out of the way first.
Ben, earlier in the program we watched the latest report that you've filed from Tripoli. What's it like for you to be making your way around the streets there? Are you impeded? What's the security situation like for reporters like yourself?
Well, it actually took us a long time to get from the place we were staying last night to the place we're staying tonight. It took some hours, and that was because we were following the advice of the rebels who were controlling the streets that we were on, who said, listen, it's not safe to go out there. There are snipers out there. Now, it was obviously very frustrating, but as we moved around the city, it's very clear that that's a real danger. And just even here in this central part of town, there have been just constant bursts of gunfire. Obviously that big one in front of the hotel that we're staying in, but also all around the town. The sounds of heavy artillery, and not just the celebratory gunfire. You hear that all the time, but very, very loud bursts, big guns, 50 calibre machine guns and those sorts of things. It's just going on all around. You do have to be very careful about where you go and trying to get out there to cover things like the attack on the airport or the fighting that's going on at the airport. The streets are chaotic.
Ben Knight, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Night time, your time. Please take care.
Thanks, Sam.